evening. Just before I start, I'd like to mention that I was pulled in at the last minute. There were a couple of dropouts and they asked me to do a presentation. So this, my pleasure. So this is one I had done before. If you've seen it before, I'm sorry about that. But I put in one new slide, so you can try and figure out what that slide is if you're a bit bored by hearing it all before. So yeah, let's kick off. They say the secret of a good better culture presentation is picking a subject about which you're passionate. So tonight I'd like to share something that I'm with you that I'm passionate about, and I hope that you'll share in that passion. Decorative plates. Those charming little knickknacks that will brighten up any home. You've all seen them. You may even have one yourself, and if you have one of these items adorning your home, I can just say, I hate you. I hate you and your weird offspring of crockery and art that you insist on decorating your home with a passion. It's these just ugly things just are decimating our culture. If a plate, which is basically an item that's been designed for eating food off, is deemed to be so beautiful that somebody says, I know what, I'll stick it up on a wall, where it is impossible for it to function as a plate, somebody's messed up. So where it all began. The Chinese were the first to make what we would recognize as a modern day plate when in 600 AD they discovered the method for making porcelain. But they didn't start trading with Europe until the 1300s. And then in the porcelain quickly became very popular in Europe, plates in particular. In the 1700s, a German potter figured out how to make porcelain as well. They started making our own with industrial espionage there. But it wasn't until the 1800s that our friend, the decorative plate, makes an appearance when European nobility started to display commemorative plates, and it became a kind of naff hobby for the aristocracy. But it wasn't until the 1950s that it really reached mass appeal when our friends, I guess, in America embraced it with open arms, and it kind of became mass culture. So, quick summary. It all started with the Chinese 1,500 years ago when they invented porcelain. It became a kind of naff hobby when a bunch of inbred Europeans turned it into a collector's thing, and a bunch of colourblind Americans made it really popular. But we know who's really to blame for their continued popularity is grannies. I think you have to reach a certain age where you look at a plate and go, I know what, that would make a better picture than a plate. It's this involuntary compulsion to turn one thing into another, and we can see the dark places where that leads to. That toilet roll doily is particularly a repulsive slide. Just let it be a toilet roll. I mean, what's wrong with that? And then that's the thing that irks me about the whole thing. It's like if you take a plate and stick it up on a wall, you're denying it the chance to be a plate. A plate wants to be a plate. It's kind of a torture, really. I would go so far as to say it's plate crucifixion. And these people who torture the plates, they're proud of it. They do it in public. They want to boast about it. The most popular room in the house to stick up a decorative plate is the kitchen. And I just think that's needlessly cruel. Look at this poor wee fella up there. He's just got to watch all his mates be plates for their entire life. And he spends in church, why can I join in? What have I done wrong? Just because I'm too pretty. If you had a mate who had a chair that he thought was so great he didn't let anybody sit on it, and he then said, I know, I'm going to glue it to the wall so people can see it all the better, he would fear for his sanity. But we let people stick crockery all over the walls without once thinking of reaching for a straitjacket. Yeah. I think I might have a little bit of tolerance for plates if they had anything resembling halfway decent art on them rather than a bunch of rejects from the chocolate box factory. And when they're not busy being so sugary that they make you gag, they often veer into a territory that can only be described as a little bit disturbing. This is what happens when you go onto the second page of a Goulds image search. This plate was given to me and my wife by a friend. And on the back it says, don't get wet. So even if I wanted to use it as a plate, the manufacturer's forbidden me from doing it. So I think we can agree there's not a decorative plate in the world that wouldn't look better like this. So what can we do to prevent this scourge from spreading? Well, if you ever go into a house, direct action is often the best way. So if you ever go into a house and see one of these things, just start eating chips off their flat screen telly, stick a goldfish in their toilet bowl, wipe your arse on their curtains, do whatever it is you need to do to help them see the error of their ways, and together we shall prevail. Thank you very much for listening.